Hi, everybody. I thought I would share another faith building story from my own life. um, I was chatting with somebody in the comments to one of the videos tonight, and we were talking about praying for God's provision. And it reminded me of this, which I shared with her, but I thought I would share it with all of you. And I have a lot of times that God has provided for me like this, especially, for me and my kids. Anyway, we were living in Minnesota, and three of my kids had already grown up and moved out, and I had two that were still at home. They were teenagers, and I had to move. We needed to move kind of quickly into a new place. And so I went searching, and apartments and I mean, definitely houses were out of our range. We were living in the Twin Cities area, so things were pretty expensive. And apartments were really, really expensive. All of them, I was going to have to like sleep in the living room, which I could do. That's not the end of the world. And I was willing to do that. But even the ones that were like in kind of dangerous areas were really, really expensive and beyond what I could possibly pay. And my kids and I had a thing that when we were in need, we would pray, Lord, you know what we need and you know how to get it to us. And I was starting to get really worried. And I went out to Lake Como, which is in St. Paul. And I was just driving around there. I think I had to be there like for an appointment first, and then I just drove around and around the area for a while and just saying over and over and over, Lord, you know what we need and you know how to get it to us. And I was doing that. I was saying it over and over because I was starting to worry and I wanted to keep reminding myself. I didn't want to forget and start panicking, but I needed to keep reminding myself that God was going to help us. And, I want to just kind of take a little side road here for a second and say, this is why it's important to have close friends who are in the same area spiritually. They know what you've been through, they know what you need to be reminded of and stuff. And in Suffering Well, we talk a lot about that, about having a close prayer partner. And, that way, like when you're in the midst of something, even if you know what you should do, you tend to forget it when you're in the midst of it because all this stuff is coming at you. And I think that's part of Satan's plan is to just get us so overwhelmed that we can't do what we know we're supposed to do because we forget about it because we're just so flustered or scared or worried or whatever. And so we need to be able to have friends who will remind us of what we need to do kindly and compassionately and not like, oh, you dumb person, you should know this, but you're not doing the right thing or something like that. I mean, I've had people say things like that to me, and that's not helpful. That's just like a superiority thing. But to kindly and understanding, that they're probably going to need reminding at some point too, and doing it out of service, not to put the other person down or to feel superior, but doing it to serve them and to remind them and pray with them even. At that point, I really didn't have anybody that I could call on or who was in that constant kind of touch with me and would have known to remind me of that, to just keep saying, God's going to provide for you and stuff like that. And so I knew that I had to build myself up. And so I just went around and around the lake praying that. And it was October, or I think it was the end of September, early October. So it was starting to get cold and we needed a house. Anyway, I won't go into all the details, but a friend who lived a couple hours away out in the middle of nowhere in Minnesota, his sister had a house that she was trying to rent, and she was willing to let me rent it for really cheap. It was a really cute Victorian house. I'm going to see if I have some of those pictures where I can get to them, and I'll post some of the pictures of it here. It was kind of ugly on the outside, until the end of the time that we were there when she had a lot of work done on it and it became really cute. But the inside was wonderful. And it was just really a sweet place with lots of really cool, kind of weird, funky things about it, which is what I love. That's why I love the house that I'm in now. And yeah, it was so perfect. And it was just the right size for me and my two kids, and we had room for everything that we needed to do and everything. And so it was just really wonderful. God just really, really provided for us, and He provided above any expectation that I had, because I really thought we were going to have to be in an apartment and that it might be in a really rough neighborhood even. And my life verse is Ephesians 3:20, which is God is able to do exceeding abundantly beyond all that we ask or even imagine, according to the power that works within us. And the power that works within us is His resurrection power. So, I mean, seriously, He can just blow the top off of anything. So I want to give you that prayer that my kids and I prayed a lot, and I still pray. Lord, you know what I need, and you know how to get it to me. It's almost an affirmation as well as a prayer, because it's reminding yourself that God knows what you need and He knows how to get it to you. All right. I love you all. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.